Hey everybody, Creation Divine. I am here out in nature. Oh, that's upside down. And I decided to do a little video today. A little surprise. I got 3 of my crystals, aka sweeties, with me. My black obsidian, ammonite, and clear quartz. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one. I can't ever pronounce that right. Beautiful nature. Okay, so I just got done with Bible study with our kiddos, and my husband and I. We were doing Bible study. A lot of people ask if the Bible mentions crystals, and it does. So we're going to start with talking about what kind of crystals it does mention. Just a second. Okay, so if you look up Genesis chapter 2, verse 10, it talks about, it says, a river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there was separated into 4 head waters. The name of the first is Pishon. It flows through the entire land of Havlia, or however you say that, where there is gold. He talks about gold. The gold of land that is good. Aromatic resin and onyx. Now I do have onyx crystal. I do not have gold, and I do have resin. Okay, so yes, it does talk about crystals. There's several places it does. Also, it mentions in Revelations chapter 21. It talks about crystals in here as well. So, then I saw the new heaven and the new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw a holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a... Sorry, I'm losing my place here. Bride beautifully dressed for her husband. Let's see, where does it start talking about the crystals? Hold on. I'm trying to read. They're talking about like the new earth, like the new heaven in here. But I have in my other video too where it's talking about the crystals. Oh, right here. It mentions gold again. It mentions jasper. Right there, jasper. It mentions sardonyx, which I do have that one. It even mentions pearls. It mentions, let's see, I'm trying to read through here. It mentions all throughout here. So if you want to look it up yourself, look up Revelations chapter 21. Read throughout there, the New Jerusalem, or however you say that, sorry. If you really think about it, okay, it doesn't even mention in the Bible. So people want to throw out, well, they only talk about certain crystals, so those are the only ones that you could use. No, because in the Bible, it doesn't even mention what kind of animals they created that crawled upon the ground. So it mentions the livestock and all that. So, you know, it doesn't mention all the animals, so it's not going to mention all the crystals. But it does mention the crystals. And like I said, God created earth. He created nature, all that. So obviously the crystals are going to be created by him. Today we were talking about how earth was created. Technically, in a way, okay, in the beginning God created heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty, darkness over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, let there be light. So that was the first thing he created. We're talking to our daughter about it. And we asked her, we're like, what did God create? And she said earth. I was like, yeah, that's right. But what was the first thing after that? She said light. And anyway, we're just reading through it all with her. And we were talking about, we got to the point where we're talking about Adam and Eve, right? How Amelia asked, she's like, well, where is Adam and Eve now? Well, we all know that God turned Adam back into dust, and we're talking about what happened to Eve, because it doesn't talk about it in the Bible. So God leaves a lot of things open for us to be creative with and to think about and create in our own minds. God gave us a structure. He gave us how would you explain it? He gave us a workbook to work on, right? When you're in school and you're doing something, you kind of got to get creative. Well, if God didn't want us to get creative with things and our beliefs, then he would have specifically wrote that in the Bible, or had somebody write that in the Bible, right? And so, obviously, God created male and female. Male and female, okay? And male was made out of dust, and if you don't want to believe that, it says right here, Lord formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Okay? And then with Eve was made out of Adam's rib. Okay? Now the Lord God formed out the ground of the beasts of the field and all the birds of the air. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds, and the air of the beasts in the field. But for Adam no substantial helper was found. So the Lord caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib, and had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. And the man said, This is now the bone of my bones and the flesh of my flesh. She shall be called a woman, for she was taken out of man. For the reason of man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. The man and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. So that means that back then, they felt no shame. Everything was so innocent back then. Okay? And then we all know Eve was the one who ate the apple. Okay? And, I mean, the serpent, which was Satan, right? He got punished first, and then it was Eve and Adam. But it says here, for all the women out there who thinks you need to be more like a man, I just want to point out there, God, let's see, your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. Men rule over the women because women back then didn't make very good decisions, and Eve kind of made that obvious. Because she decided to have her husband eat the fruit. And so for all the people out there who feel like, and I get it, there is some men out there who are jerks and all that. But for the most part, if you're going to marry a man, make sure you love them and make sure you show them respect, and men should show women respect. So the whole point of this video is pretty much stating that, there's two genders, man and woman. And then there's proof, there's crystals, there's proof what God created, there's proof of all this stuff, right? We need to live that way, guys. We need to stop trying to, I get we're supposed to be creative, but when you go against the Bible itself, that's when it starts becoming an issue. And so, I know the camera won't let me switch it to my face. So I'm kind of stuck leaving it like this, but you guys can admire my sweet crystals while I talk to you. I hate it too, don't worry. But we need to start living more biblically because we don't know when we're going to all be going. And I normally wasn't the one to get into the Bible all the time and be like, we're going to follow this, but it all makes sense. The more you grow up and you start to notice things maturely and everything, not everybody's going to follow it because everybody has their way of learning. But the way I've learned is your life would go much easier if you just kind of follow the word of the Bible, because that's what I've been doing. And I'm not saying that the men should be mean and hurtful and disrespectful to women, and I'm not saying women should be either. I feel like we all need to treat each other equally, but what God means by a man is supposed to rule over a woman is he's supposed to make the main decisions. He's supposed to be the one to guide the woman. He's the one that's supposed to do all this. You know, women are more vulnerable than men. We're supposed to trust in men. And if you're not married and you feel happy being single the rest of your life, then great. But, you know, it's just one of those things where God, He created these things for a reason. And I feel like as if we were to follow it more, I feel like we'd have better luck. Because I'm telling you, my husband and I had the crappiest luck for the first while because we didn't go by anything in the Bible. We weren't, I mean, I'm not saying we weren't Christ-like, because we never did anything bad or anything. We've always been good people, but when we started praying more and trusting in God more, we started having better luck with things. We started to have more blessings and more good things happen for us. And so that's when we started, and we believe that God is real. We believe that anything from nature God created. And the whole crystal thing, I feel like God put these here because crystals, scientifically proven, they have energies. And so that shows you right there, they have healing benefits and all that stuff. And God put those on earth, I feel like, just like He did with herbs and the gardens and all that stuff, to help us. And that's why I know that crystals are a thing from God, because they have energy. They are proven to heal people. They are proven for all that. So is all of our herbs and our gardens and all that. And so there's nothing you can fight with that. I just wanted to quick do that. Not on here to preach to anybody, but I just want to pretty much throw a testimony out there that, you know, if you're struggling and you don't know which way to go, this is what you need to be looking into. And if you're interested in the crystals and people tell you, oh no, that's evil because it's not godlike, it's not Christ-like, yes it is, because there's crystals mentioned in this Bible. And God doesn't want us to fully lean on these, but He wants us to use them as a tool to help heal and help understand things and help people with too. It's all a guidance, and He created the trees, all the herbs, everything on this earth to help us too. And animals and livestock and all that. He created everything on here for a reason, for us to use as a purpose. So stop listening to people who say, oh, using crystals for like healing or using crystals for that kind of stuff. Stop listening to that, because they're here. We're using them as what He intended them for. Use them for good purposes. You know, don't use them for bad, because you're going against this. So, that's all I have to say. I know I mentioned in my videos, I know I keep mentioning it, I'm so sorry, but things happen in life. It's been hectic. I am going to be getting some crystals in stock here soon. My husband and I, we're running into some stuff. We got to use our finances for other things, but we will be getting them in soon. And I will be doing videos of them, which ones I'm selling. And like I said, I'll drop in the link below my Mercari account so you all can go on there and check them out. My next video, I'm thinking, is when that's going to be. I didn't want anybody to get bored of my channel, so I decided to do a video. I do my short videos so nobody gets bored. I'm doing everything I can to make it work. If I do post more videos, I'll make it clear on there. Like the title, you'll see the title I put in when I'm selling the crystals is I'm going to put in my title something to the fact about finally got crystals in selling, or something to that matter. You'll know. But I might do some more videos before then if I find something cool. My husband and I talked about going around doing kind of cool videos of like nature and like maybe abandoned places and stuff. We thought about doing that. So stay tuned with that. In the meantime, though, let me show you around this place. Okay, let's start here with a beautiful natural little stream going through right here. It goes from that spot to here. Kind of. See, my husband and I and our kids, we love going up in nature spots. I'm kind of sick today, so that's another reason why I haven't been doing much. I cleansed my crystals in the water today. Let me show you how I do that real quick. Some advice I want to give you guys is there is certain crystals you cannot put in water. Doesn't make them fake or anything. It's the minerals in them that can dissolve them. So like selenite, do not put them in water. But I don't have any of it. I have clear quartz, obsidian, and amazite, or however you say that. Correct me in the comments. I know. Okay. So when you gotta do it fresh water, or you can do it with smudging, like sage sticks. Okay. You kind of make sure the crystal is going to be safe where you set it so it doesn't float down the stream. But you put them in the water and you let them sit there for a few minutes. Oops. And what it does is nature naturally flushes out any negative energies that your crystal has. Any negativity it has. And when you go to use your crystals for like meditation, or I use them for reading the Bible too, to get good clear messages through the Bible too. But I usually do it for like also like my meditation, or like trying to do healing sessions. Yes, I know how to do healing sessions with crystals. Clear quartz is a really good one to help with sickness, and all of them are. But if you look back at my other videos, it goes over everything the other ones I have, what they do. But you let them sit in there for a little bit, okay? And do not dry them off with a towel. You naturally let them dry themselves. Because it's nature. You gotta let it kind of naturally take its course. Okay? And what I normally do to make it more natural is I just set them on the ropes. I set them on the ground, if I can get it to balance, to dry naturally. Shouldn't take too long. It helps them ground with nature and earth. I want to show you this little path, hold on, that we walked through. So look how beautiful it is out here. I'd never show our locations or where we are for safety reasons because of people being weirdos. Here's the pathway. If you know where we're at, please don't mention it in the comments. If you're a YouTuber, you will know the importance of safety and people that are not too good knowing where you are. You don't want people to know where you're at because there's some bad people out there. See the beautiful view? There was a fire there at one point. Don't mind the voices in the background, it's our daughters. My husband, he's so sweet. He makes it so possible. He makes it so possible for me to do these videos. He's so sweet. My sweetie's drying naturally. I don't think I got that. My sweetie's drying naturally. I hope I was doing the video right. Well, in case it didn't work, pretty sure it was though. Here's the path. Sometimes I get confused with the button. In case nobody's... Okay. Like I said, I don't share a location because it creeps out there. That burnt down one time. Okay. And again, don't mind the voices in the background. My husband's doing an amazing job watching our kids while I do my videos. And then, this is the magical part. Look at that river, it's beautiful. Look at the little path we had to go down. Stay. Look at the path we had to go down. Like I said, if you know what location we are, please do not comment below what it is. YouTubers should know. Eventually, we'll start putting captions where the locations are, but obviously you do it at different days. Look at this. And my favorite quote that this person wrote here, you were never meant to blend in, be you. I love that saying. Whoever did this, you're amazing, and God bless you for that, because people need that kind of message once in a while. Like I said, my husband and I, we plan on doing some videos. I'm thinking about even throwing out some haunted houses. Let me know in the comments below what kind of adventurous things you want us to do. Just because we're Christ-like and pray and all that does not mean we don't celebrate Halloween, because we do. We celebrate Halloween. My husband and I are very open-minded, and we're not religious. We just believe in God and we follow His word, but we also are not afraid of haunted stuff. We're not afraid of haunted houses. We're not afraid of any of that stuff. Like, we love to be creative. We love Halloween. It's the spooky stuff. We like that. It says Trump 2028. Oh boy. Okay. Going back to okay. Sure. And this is so cool and magical, because this is the path I was showing you. You take to go back into this beautiful bliss. It's gorgeous. Look how cool that tree is. Everything's so magical. If you want to know about my husband and I's open mind and what we're interested in and what we believe in, leave a comment below too. We'll be happy to share that in one of our videos. We're open to any requests people have. Everything in our minds is important to be creative, because, like I said, God created things here for a reason. And everybody is so beautiful for having their own creation and own thoughts and process. But I think you can do anything, but you've got to have God in your heart, or it's not going to work. And God's not going to protect you, be by your side if you don't. That's my belief anyway. That's my belief. Everybody has their own beliefs. Let me show you this little pathway. Oh, there was a horse here at one point. Actually, freshly here. I love horses. Fun fact, I actually used to be a 4-H leader in the equestrians. So that was fun. I used to work with horses a lot. I miss them, and I'd love to be involved with them again, but life happened, and I ended up kind of veering away. I still love them. I still know what to do with them, but it's one of those things where you create a family, you know, and kind of get away from it because it's really expensive after you have kids. So my husband and I, we're gonna be living the RV life with our kids soon. That's the life we chose, and it's a good life for kids, whether people want to admit it or not. So that's our belief. I know there's families out there who do it too, so no hate at all. Anyway, like I said before, like and subscribe. Comment below what else you want us to do for videos, and we'll say a quick prayer. Okay, Lord, please bless anybody who's watching this video. to have an open mind, open heart, and so they're very loved, and for them to have a wonderful day, whatever struggles they may be going through, for them to trust in you and put their love and trust into you, Lord. Thank you so much for all your wonderful blessings and blessing others. Amen. You all have a great day and great night whenever you see or watch this video, and thank you so much for taking time to watch this. I know I normally do my paper cup note thing where I shake the cup and we find messages, but I don't have that on me right now. So just, like I said, anything you need, let me know. Have a great day. Bye.